Could the 49ers trade for Myles Garrett? Apparently, he wants out. Welcome to your daily 49ers update. I'm Rob Stats Guerrera. Here is what's happening. Myles Garrett has officially requested a trade out of Cleveland and away from the Browns, releasing a statement this morning. Not shocking considering some of the rumblings that have come out of Cleveland, but now it is official. We know John Lynch has never been afraid to take a big swing in the past. Christian McCaffrey trade, for example, the Trent Williams trade, for example, the D Ford trade, for example. So we're all wondering, how possible is it? Well, it might take a lot. Garrett is 29 years old. He's a four-time first-team All-Pro, six-time Pro Bowler, former Defensive Player of the Year. Since 2022, Myles Garrett is first in PFF grade, first in sacks, and first in pass rush win rate. So, yeah, he's pretty good. Oh, by the way, 14 sacks, 28 quarterback hits last season. The Niners do have the 11th overall pick in the draft, of course, but I think it's going to take more than that, especially considering every team in the league is going to be interested. But I did see a tweet from Diana Rossini that maybe changed my mind a little bit. She wrote, and Diana is an insider for The Athletic, she wrote, quote, one NFL GM on what a trade for Myles Garrett could look like. Probably a first-round pick, plus can't wait for the it'll be 3 firsts crowd. Not happening. A 1 and a 2, a 1 2/3, throw a player in there. Let me just say, if that's all it takes to get Myles Garrett and pair him up with Nick Bosa in San Francisco, John Lynch, you do it and you don't lose a second of sleep. For what it's worth, Cleveland has been on the record and just reiterated after this statement came out that they are not trading Myles Garrett. They have no intention of trading Myles Garrett. They're not going to have conversations about trading Myles Garrett. But that's also exactly the thing you say when you're trying to drum up the price to trade Myles Garrett. So obviously, it's a long way to go. We'll see what happens. But there is no reason the 49ers should not be involved in these conversations. And given their history, they probably will be. We always give you one thing to read, one thing to watch, and one thing you might have missed. One thing to read on this Monday. A couple of very prominent 49ers went on the record to share just how happy they were that Robert Saleh is back with the team. If you want to find out who they are and what they said, click the link in the description of this episode. Speaking of prominent 49ers voices, one thing to watch. Fred Warner and George Kittle will both be on Radio Row in New Orleans this week, doing interviews. I'm sure they'll have a lot to say about Robert Saleh and Brock Purdy. And if people are doing their jobs, they should get asked about Myles Garrett potentially coming to the 49ers. Of course, why wouldn't they be happy about that prospect? But again, keep an eye and an ear out, and I'll have any interesting quotes and video from Radio Row. One thing you may have missed. Could there be a shakeup in the defensive coaching staff? The Niners are going to interview D'Angelo Hall this week for a position on the defensive coaching staff, possibly defensive backs coach. Now, Hall was with the Panthers the last 2 seasons as an assistant DB coach, but they parted ways mutually because D'Angelo wanted to be the head guy. No word yet on how this affects current 49ers defensive backs coach Daniel Bullock's. Niners beat writers last week sort of had conflicting opinions on whether that would mean a promotion for Bullock's or he'd be off the staff. We don't really know right now, but Robert Saleh potentially could have an addition to his coaching staff. That's a wrap on today's 49ers in 5. Please rate, review, and follow the Gold Standard Podcast Network wherever you get your audio pods. Like and subscribe to the YouTube channel as well. Click the bell so you know when we're live, which is every single weekday, and after all Niners breaking news. Enjoy your Monday, everybody. I'm Rob Stats Guerrera.